What's up, everybody? Hey, thank you so much for joining me here at the Real ResQ Podcast. I am so excited that you are here. We are part of Vertical Magazine's vertical podcast network known as Helicast. If you haven't checked it out, go to verticalhelicast.com to check out all of the podcasts, including Hangar Z, the Helicopter Podcast, the Valor Flight Crew Podcast, and Vertical MRO Podcast. They are all there and they are all worth listening to. Go check them out. Now, a quick shout out to our sponsors for this episode. Airbus, pioneering sustainable aerospace for a safe and united world. Check them out at airbus.com. Metro Aviation, to provide the safest and highest quality aircraft operations, completions, and maintenance. Check them out at metroaviation.com. And Onboard Systems Hoist and Winch. When lives are on the line, proven performance means everything. Check them out at hoist-winch.onboardsystems.com. And if you haven't had a chance to check out the newest, latest, and greatest in meal replacement bar, go to getreadybar.com and see how this deep space nutrition research is now for us first responders. Plus, you can save 10% with the Real ResQ discount code RESQ10. And last but not least, the realrescuestore.com. Check out what's there for hats, shirts, and more at the realrescuestore.com. Now, coming up next, we've got a very cool multimedia collaboration with Vertical Magazine highlighting the incredible work of Phoenix, Arizona Police and Fire Support Unit. If you want to dig in deeper at what makes this unit tick, don't miss out on the Vertical Valor Magazine special AppsCon 2025 edition. There's a full article in there that dives into their MRO program. Definitely worth the read. But that's not all. There's also a mini profile story on the unit online at verticalmag.com. Perfect for a quick read with some great insights. And if you're a podcast fan, the Hangar Z podcast has a 3-part series about them. Trust me, it's packed with stories from behind-the-scene details that you won't find anywhere else. Oh, and make sure you check out the Vertical YouTube channel for some amazing video content featuring the unit in action. Seriously, this footage is next level. And here's a little fun bonus. This came up for a little impromptu while we were recording, but it was too good not to share this fun fact. Check this out for these guys.
One other interesting thing that I find interesting, if that's okay to share, is Bobby,
Absolutely.
Dan, and I, we all went to the same high school and got to
Did you really?
do a couple rescues where it was just alumni in the bird. So I find that interesting. So
I'm a little older than those guys, but yes,
not by much.
That's a little fun fact. I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Thank you for that fun fact.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna. I'll drop right into the episode with that. That's amazing.
I just find it neat. Yeah.
Go Spartans.
Go Spartans. Right. Public education.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Wait, you guys are Spartans? Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
I was a Spartan. That was my high school mascot as well. Hey!
Very nice.
Where are you, Aaron?
Well,
what now, Aaron?
I was a Trojan. So you were a Spartans, I was a Trojan.
There you go.
Okay, all right. Is that approved? Yeah, approved. Approved. My name is Jason Quinn. I am United States Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer number 500. These are my rescues and rescues from those of us that put our lives on the line every day so others may live. This is the Real ResQ Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real ResQ. I have another treat today. I've got like a handful of guys, 4 specifically, coming to us from Phoenix, Arizona. We have 3 guys from the Phoenix Police Department. We've got Aaron Richard. What's up, Aaron?
How are you?
I'm fantastic. We got Dan Latham. What's up, Dan?
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Tim Lance. What's up, Tim?
How's it going?
Fantastic. Thank you. And we've got our fire departments, right? Phoenix Fire. Got to have them in here. We got Bobby Dubnow. What's up, dude?
How are you doing?
I am fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. This is exciting for me because we're going to get a little brief about your full program and kind of how you guys operate to help search and rescue and really just save people in distress out in and around Phoenix. I'm pretty excited about it. So right on. So with that, let me start with this. If you guys can kind of introduce yourself, just let me start with the cops. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm going to start. They like, there's more of them against you right now. Okay. I'm sorry.
They do outnumber me today.
They do. So, Aaron, what brought you to being a police officer there and brought you to the aviation unit?
Becoming a police officer wasn't something that I had originally planned about doing. I had some friends and went on a ride along, kind of fell into the job 21 years ago. So I've got 21 years on with the city now, and I've got 14 years on with the air support unit. I've always had the aviation bug since a kid. So once I realized that our city police department, the police department has an aviation unit, I kind of had made a decision early in my career that that's probably a career goal for me.
Sick, man. And here you are.
Yeah.
Would you say
Here
15 years you've been doing this?
I've been in the unit 14 years. Yeah.
14. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
I got excited for you.
Yeah.
I was giving you a year. All right.
Yeah. I'll
Nice,
take it.
man. Good for you. Good for you. Dan, what about you?
So kind of along the lines with Aaron is that, I've been a police officer for 26 years. When I graduated college, I just kind of, it was a career that was appealing to me just because being a police officer sounded like something where, I didn't have to go sit in an office and, it was something, new and exciting every day. I also always had an interest in aviation before I came up to our unit. I started flying on my own. I paid for it out of my own pocket and got my private airplane license. And so I flew for a handful of years before I came up here. I've been a pilot up here in our unit for just over 18 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've worked as a pilot, a tactical flight officer, flight instructor, and now I just recently took over as chief pilot, and so I'm kind of learning that position within the last year.
Hey, congratulations. That's pretty awesome, man. Yeah. Does everybody like you? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. That's terrible.
He's great.
All right, Tim, what about you? Yeah, he's okay? That's perfect. Tim, what about you, man?
Police wasn't always on my radar. Grew up at the base of one of the hiking spots. Used to see the police go in and do rescues all the time. Always thought it'd be awesome to do something in aviation. Along the way, did some other things and got to do a ride in the police helicopter as my first ride along, and thought that was outstanding. Went and did a ride along with a uniformed officer on the street. Thought that was incredible. Essentially signed up after I finished college, my second tour of college, and then got the job, and always had the air support unit on my radar. Did a couple other things first, and then was able to get up into the unit. So I've been here 13 years and been on the department 25.
Wow, you guys got some experience. That's freaking awesome. So total side note, I'm coming to you, Bobby. Don't worry. So my oldest daughter, it just recently graduated Appomattox County Sheriff's Department in Virginia. And she calls me from time to time while she's like on the side of the road running radar. And the greatest, I live vicariously through her at the moment because she'll be sitting there like literally FaceTiming me, which she probably shouldn't do. And I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm going to anyway. And she'll be like, oh, they're speeding. I'll call you back there. And I'm like, this is awesome. So I get all excited about her doing that. So, hey, thank you guys for what you do. I appreciate it, man. That's good stuff. So, all right, Bobby, I'm bringing it to you. Phoenix Fire Department. How'd you get into it and how long you been doing it?
Yeah, so I've been with Phoenix Fire since 1992. So going over 33 years right now with the department. And I was in college as well, not really with a clear path of what I was going to do. But I had been doing quite a few adventurous things since I was in high school with my summers, including all my summers in college. I was a whitewater river guide all throughout the West, worked my way from Arizona all the way up to Canada. Did a lot of climbing when I was a kid. And the Phoenix Fire Department just kind of started popping up on my radar as a place that I think was going to appeal to me for some of the same reasons that these guys said. Didn't want to sit behind a desk. And just being a fireman, a paramedic, and getting involved in some of the rescue stuff that I was already sort of a part of in my younger life just all seemed to be a clear path. So, and then I got involved with the technical rescue program fairly early on in my fire department career, about 1999. I was able to get qualified and trained as a technical rescue technician, and started getting involved more with the air ops. When that happened, we started our air ops program here with Phoenix Firebird 10, which is the hoist ship, in 2005. So I was one of our first air rescue techs to be able to ride the hook and do some patient packaging and things like that. And then I became a crew chief in 2015, and I get to run the technical rescue. I get to run the technical rescue program for Phoenix Fire since about that time as well, since about 2015.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Let me dive into a little deeper question. So the technical rescue you're talking about, is it like high ropes, low ropes? Is it like, what are we talking?
Yeah, it encompasses everything. So if you're familiar with some of the NFPA standards for tech rescue, it's pretty much the whole NFPA 1006 qualification book.
Wow.
So it's all ropes, con space, trench, structural collapse, helo, swift water. We even have some arborist palm tree rescues that we do here as well. So we send all of our folks that come through training through about 200 hours, a little over 5 weeks of straight training time and class. We do it all over the valley, different mountain parks and preserves that we have here to be able to train in, as well as a lot of industrial applications for some of the other disciplines. So we're a pretty large team. We operate sort of with all the other departments in the valley as well. They all come through the same program.
Holy smoke. That's a lot of stuff to learn. Like a lot.
It is.
Are there, sorry guys, I'm going to come back to the police side, I promise. No, I'm enthralled by this for the moment, okay? So with you guys going through such a long, extensive program, are there limited spots to get in? Is it like anybody can get in at any point in time through the department?
Yeah, so we have limited spots in terms of the number of technical rescue trucks or teams that we have on shift every day. So we have basically 7 stations in the city of Phoenix. And then as I was kind of talking to you about earlier, we operate in this automatic aid system in the Phoenix metropolitan area in the fire service. So there's about 12 other fire departments that also have technical rescue teams, sometimes only one station within their department, sometimes a couple. But we all operate collectively and seamlessly together because we all kind of come through the same training. We operate out of the same field guides and, procedures, and we operate with the same communication decks. So we dispatch to these rescues, not based on the jurisdiction, but just based on your location and just sending the closest, most appropriate resources to that call. So it doesn't matter what color the fire truck is. We all do the same thing. Our bags look the same. We operate with the same technology and procedures and all that.
Man, that is super cool. Wow. What a trip. That's a lot. Again, a lot of stuff you've got to learn there. It's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Right on.
But that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to dive in deeper to that. But let's do this. All right, Tim, I'm going to come to you. Do you remember your very first rescue?
Yeah. So it wasn't a hoist. It was a 2-skid. So we start off, you get rescue certified in our patrol helicopters. So it was 2-skid on the McDowell Mountains. And going over there was a patient on one of the hills, pretty high up. And so I wanted to make sure that I could find a place to sit down and land before we went and picked up the crew chief and an ART so that they could help with the patient. So as I'm going, I'm doing my checks, my power checks, and my observer. He was fairly new and very talkative. And as I'm doing all the things I need to do, trying to concentrate, he's asking me about, hey, what's this? What's that? What do you do here? What's that? What's this? And, it's taken my mind off some of the stuff. But at the same time, it was like, I'm trying to concentrate. And I go, I don't know. This is my first rescue. And he goes, what? I go, yeah, this is my first rescue. And so he's like, oh, yeah, mine too. And I'm like, okay, great. So, we land, we go down, we pick them up. We go up top of the mountain, set the fire department personnel down. They grab the patient loader, and as we're flying down, he tells the crew chief, "Hey, just so you know, this is our first rescue." And he said, "Oh, he he didn't say, "Oh, great." He said, "Oh, shit." I don't know if we can cuss here, but we made it safely and we
You
landed at the ground.
absolutely
And
can.
yeah, so it was stressful, but at the same time, he kind of took the edge off and um, made it kind of fun and memorable. So that was essentially my first rescue as a rescue pilot.
Oh, right on, man. That's good stuff. That's awesome. All right, Aaron, I'm going to come to you.
Actually, it's kind of funny. I was a new pilot in the unit, and I was actually with a flight instructor he's retired now, but we were out doing training for me to become pilot command. So I hadn't been through any rescue training at all, flight training whatsoever. But he obviously felt, or he must have felt that I was doing okay. And a rescue came out while we were in the air. And he says, "Well, I'm sitting next to you, so we should be okay." So it was a 2-skid rescue in an A-Star in the White Tank Mountains. And as I wasn't already nervous enough trying to get through training to become a pilot command in the unit, now he's throwing a real live rescue operation at me. So totally unexpected. And we got through it and everything went great. And then it was still years, not years, but probably about a couple of years before I was even began my rescue training after that one. So I had one under my belt, so I kind of knew it was coming from there.
So you basically walked into the restaurant and be like, "I got this, yo." Just
Well,
sit there.
I don't know about that, but yeah, yeah, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it was totally out of left field.
Right on, man. Oh, that's cool. Like when you get thrown into something like that right away. Oh, I get excited about stuff like that. It's kind of
Yeah,
fun. 'Cause you're
I
like,
had asked him, "Do you want to land and shut down and switch seats?" He goes, "No, you can do this." So
yeah.
that's what we did.
That's, man. Well done, sir. Well done. All right, Dan. What about you?
Yeah, so the first one that I can remember was probably 16, 17 years ago. I wasn't flying. I was the tactical flight officer in the helicopter. The pilot was our former chief pilot that was here before me. We were going down to do a hoist rescue at South Mountain, and there wasn't really anything significant about the rescue itself, other than what stands out to me is that I don't know if you've ever been to Phoenix during the summertime, but we have these really intense at times dust storms that are the result of outflow from monsoon storms that happen south of the valley, and we were down in South Phoenix at South Mountain, kind of on the southernmost part of the city, and right as we were starting to do this hoist a big, I mean, dust storm or haboob or whatever you want to call it. It seems like the past few years they've kind of changed the name of them, but a big dust storm was coming in, and so we narrowly got this patient hoisted out and delivered to the base LZ before we were just in like total brownout conditions and had to sit down for a while before we could fly back. But that's one of the first ones that I remember that stand out to me.
Dang. So I live in Saudi Arabia right now, and we call that a shmol. Is that what you guys call it?
They say haboob or dust storm or whatever, but either way, the visibility gets really, really terrible.
Oh, it's crazy. When you start seeing like a wall of sand, a shmol. Yeah, it's an Arabic technical term. It might be. Well, it just may be Arabic for a sandstorm. I don't know.
We'll coin that here now.
Let's run with it. Yeah.
All right. It's a shmol. Yeah, it's the craziest thing to see. So I have been down there in the summer. I don't know if I've seen any out of Phoenix, but I have seen a boatload of pictures of the sandstorms that roll through there. It's wild.
Yeah, it's just a big slow moving cloud that just comes and takes over everything.
Yeah, it's incredible. Dang, right on. Well, hey, thanks for sharing that, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Bobby. With somebody who's got like a technical rescue and been doing it forever, do you remember your first one?
Yeah. So I have been on quite a few, but of course you're going to remember, the first couple, and especially the first one. So when you're done going through training, you have all that knowledge in your head, of course, and you just never know when that first one's going to come. It could be, it could be that first shift, or it could be, months later. But for me, it was literally within the first couple shifts. And again, it was over at Camelback Mountain. Camelback Mountain's really unique because it does have a trail that goes up, but it's also got a lot of off-trail recreation opportunities. You can base jump there. There's a pretty active community of base jumpers. It's got a lot of, sport climbing, both sport routes as well as traditional climbing routes. But anyway, we had a call over there for somebody that had, we call them kind of rock geckos. So they climbed themselves up into a cliff area without a rope and without a harness, and just basically not hurt, but just got themselves stuck. So what we have
I
to do
assume
is
not rock climbing shoes as well, like probably regular sneakers or maybe some
just some
sandals.
Chuck Taylors. Yeah, some Chuck Taylors, maybe some cut off blue jeans. But in any event, so what we do is we make access up. Sometimes we're able to do some scrambling. Sometimes we have to climb up a different route, be able to get up on top, and then we set up what we call a pick-off, where we'll just set up a rope system, either lower a rescuer or have a rescuer rappel down. And you want to be that guy. And I remember when I went through training, how much time we spent tying knots and making sure that those knots were just part of your muscle memory, both, your physical and your mental muscle memory, so that when that time came and you're going to be nervous, you'd be able to tie it. And fortunately, I was able to, and be that guy to be able to go down on the sharp end of the rope to do my first pickoff. So yeah, you never forget that. And that truly is a bread and butter call for us, just because we do have a lot of places in the valley that folks like to kind of climb themselves into and get stuck. So
right on.
I remember that one for sure. As far as air ops rescues go, I'll just kind of give you my first one as a crew chief. Same thing. You never know when you're going to get that first one. And I've been a crew chief for a little over 11 years now, but it also came within the first couple of shifts that I, after I was qualified. And again, it was at South Mountain, which is another big, just expansive mountain park and preserve in the city limits here. And again, nothing really super remarkable about the actual rescue or the hoist itself, but I just remember it because it was my first, and my senior crew chief was with me. We try to always keep that senior crew chief with the junior crew chief for at least the first one or two. And he was a little bit of an intimidating guy, whether it was intentional or not. That was just kind of his personality. So just having him in the back of the aft cabin there with me, and had a very salty pilot at the time. And just remember being very intimidated coming into the ship. They actually picked me up at a base LZ. So didn't really have a whole lot of time to get, in my own head about the whole thing. Just kind of got in the back of the ship, and within less than a minute or two, we were prepping the hook and getting ready to insert a bear hook down, and everything went great. But again, it's always going to be memorable.
Yeah, buddy. That's so cool. God, I love what we do. I really do. It's so much fun. Like, we just have a good time. Like, you legitimately, like, we're out flying in helicopters, hanging out at the bottom of it, in random areas to pick people up that got stuck. Like, it's just awesome. I love it. And I hope never to be the person to be stuck, but like, if I am, I know you guys are coming. Yeah.
You got to pinch yourself sometimes.
Right? I mean, think about it. Like, we go out, next thing you know, you're rappelling off rocks. People have to pay to do that. We get paid to do it. Oh, it's amazing.
I agree. Yeah, sometimes when we sit on the edge of the door right there, which is where our crew chief sits in the back of Firebird 10, which is what we call our Augusta 109, and over a place like Camelback Mountain, or really over anything, and just sitting there, you do have to pinch yourself that, this is my job, and this is incredible that I get the opportunity to do this kind of work.
Totally. Yeah, I love it. I can't get enough of it. This is why I live vicariously through all of you now. Just because that way I can get all the stories and keep it going.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you guys. I appreciate you sharing all your first rescues. That's pretty awesome. Dan, I want to come to you real quick because I want to learn a little bit more about your entire program. So the Phoenix Police Department is working hand in hand with the Phoenix Fire Department to conduct rescues. So first question, how many helicopters and different types do you have? We're going to divert real quick to thank our sponsors.
Airbus. Airbus provides the most efficient helicopter solutions to its customers who serve, protect, save lives, and safely carry passengers in demanding environments. Its civil and military helicopters are flying all over the world, making missions possible. Visit airbus.com for more information.
So right now our fleet on the helicopter side consists of 5 H-125s, which is AS-350B3E, that we've acquired over the past 3 years. We had a previous fleet that was AS350 B3s that we have since replaced. We retained one of those. So we have a total of 5 Airbus H125s essentially. And then our hoist ship that we do our hoist operations from is an Augusta 109E from about 2005.
Right on. How many 109s?
We just have the one.
Oh, just a one. Oh, is that and that's the only one with the hoist?
Correct.
Right on. So if that one goes down, you guys go out of service as far as hoist rescue
So
goes.
we have the ability to do two-skid rescues using the single-engine Airbus aircraft. A lot of our mountainous areas in town have designated LZs that are strewn
nice.
throughout the mountains that we can utilize if we have to, or the patients are near those LZs.
Oh, that's super cool. Okay, nice. So do you do long line and short haul as well?
So we don't. We have in the past. We don't currently have those operations. But
Right.
in the past we have, and we can, and we have pilots on staff that have done it in the past and they're trained to do it. But that's not our first option.
Got it. Right on. Cool. Side note question is so Arizona DPS, they've got ships like all around. Do you guys work hand in hand with them from time to time, or is that a kind of like a separate thing?
So yeah, I can expand a little more kind of on our operation and then how it relates to some of the other helicopter operations in the state. So we're a multi-mission aviation unit where our primary mission is patrol support. We support primarily the Phoenix police officers responding to crimes in progress, other dynamic types of police situations in the city. That's probably our biggest consumer of flight hours, where we fly 12 to 13 flight hours per day, where we go out on scheduled patrol flights and respond to the same calls for service that the guys on the ground do. So our probably second biggest consumer of flight hours is our rescue operations, where we work hand in hand with specially trained fire department personnel conducting those rescue missions.
Wow.
So as Bobby explained earlier, we stay fairly regionally, but there's other operations that are more of your traditional search and rescue operations, like other county agencies. Department of Public Safety is a really good example of that, and they do a really good job of documenting a lot of their rescues and having a lot of stuff out there. But they do a lot of good work, but they just have a little further reach than we do. We stay a little more local.
Well, you guys did actually mention that just like kind of before we hit record, is like most of your flights are not more than 45 minutes? Like out and back 45 minutes, or like out 45 minutes?
No, just a total flight time. In addition to the Phoenix Fire Department, we work with the other Valley fire departments that are in, they work together as a TRT resource. But a majority of our mountains that we do the rescues at are fairly close proximity to our base here at Deer Valley Airport. So anywhere from a half an hour to an hour and a half is probably our limit.
Wow, what a trip! Now, when you're saying you're working with all the other fire departments, are you training with all the other fire departments as well?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, Bobby can probably elaborate a little more on air about how they work together. Yeah, so from a pilot standpoint, we operate the helicopter. All the flight crews are Phoenix police personnel. All the aircraft are Phoenix police aircraft, and all the rescue personnel in the back of the helicopter are Phoenix Fire Department personnel.
Nice. All right, Bobby, I'm going to come back to you then. So
yeah,
how would I come through to be able to get on the helicopter as a crew chief and as a rescue guy?
Yeah. So as I was stating before, we have quite a few technical rescue technicians that come through our training school and are just part of that regional team. In order to become more specialized with some of the hoist program, we hand select folks in the team, both in Phoenix as well as some of the other departments. Altogether, there's probably only around 12 to 15 guys per shift, so maybe about 45 guys total, who have received some additional specialized training to become what we call ARTS, which stands for Air Rescue Technician. And they're the ones that we qualify to basically ride the hook, and then do all of the patient packaging on ground, trail line management, that type of thing. As far as becoming a crew chief, there's really only one sort of trajectory to get that qualification and that job. And that's in the position that I'm in now. And I've been in this position for about 10 or 11 years. It's called CAR 957. We are a special operations safety officer. So we're on shift work, just like the rest of the guys in the field. There's 2 of us on duty every day, so 6 of us total. We respond on nothing but special operations incidents. So we're also dual certified in hazardous materials. So we're both technical rescue and hazardous material qualified. And we go on those types of incidents exclusively to kind of assume the role of safety officer, technical advisor. Sometimes we get a little bit more task oriented, but part of that job is also being successful at completing the crew chief training. So yeah, that's an additional, month or so of specialized training that we do in-house here. And yeah, it's been phenomenal.
Holy cow, that's amazing. All right, so with all the fire departments that you guys have to work with as far as the police go, with the fire department side, do you have crew chiefs from all the different departments? Like all the, or
No,
is it just you guys? You guys are the only crew chief.
So the 2 crew chiefs that are on shift every day, the 6 of us total, we are the crew chiefs for the whole region. So we're still a regional response in terms of, we'll fly and rescue anywhere within sort of the automatic aid, response area, which is almost as large as the county, just not all the way outside into the very wilderness, more remote areas that kind of falls under a different jurisdiction for search and rescue and for air ops and things like that. But yeah.
Right on,
Jason, another thing to add, you were saying how quickly short time frames that a lot of our rescues are. Like Bobby said, there's 6 crew chiefs and there's only about 6 or 7 of us hoist pilots as well. And we all work together constantly. So we get a call today and Bobby's coming up to the hangar and the helicopter's ready to go. We're on the same page from the second those blades start turning. We work together and train together so much. So it's seamless. As soon as we take off, I know what he's going to be doing. He knows what I'm going to be doing. And it's interchangeable amongst all of us. So
well,
that takes
Aaron,
a lot of that.
how much, when you say you have a lot of training, how much training are you guys doing? Is there monthly? I assume there are monthly requirements and stuff, but like even as a new hoist operator, a new crew chief coming in, how much are you flying with them?
I'll let Dan kind of expand on that more, but a new hoist operator, we're getting a lot of reps. I mean, it's, I don't know, Dan, 20, 30 hours at minimum of hoisting probably.
Wow.
Yeah, it varies different times of the year. Obviously, we don't do a whole lot if we can avoid it during the heat of the summer. But like right now, we're just starting to get into the monsoon season, like we kind of discussed earlier, where the potential is there for swiftwater rescues. And so right now we've been doing weekly sessions, and we've got about 7 or 8 sessions scheduled where we're going out every week, and we're doing swiftwater training right now. So that's kind of currently the mode we're in. And like I said, it just kind of varies from season to season, but we're doing weekly training right now, just in preparation for the upcoming monsoon season.
Man, that is incredible. That's good stuff. Bobby, all you guys are swiftwater rescue trained then?
Yes, that's all part of just, the standard technical rescue technician qualification.
Bro, how do you keep up with all your qualifications? What the? That's insane.
So again, we're really fortunate here with our department. Very, very supportive of special operations and of training, because that's really what special operations is, right? Kind of moderate to low frequency events and high risk stuff. So we actually have a day of the week dedicated to technical rescue training, which is Tuesday, actually today. So we just call it TRT Tuesday. So every Tuesday throughout the year, without miss, we are training our crews in different, skill sets and disciplines that are just part of our annual recurrency for everything. And again, we're a pretty active team here as well. Like we do have quite a bit of operational incidents, what they used to call very low frequency events when I first got into the team a number of years ago, just because of the size of the city, the growth, the amount of infrastructure, construction, all the industries that are here. We get quite a bit of actual activity and experience. So yeah, it's a pretty unique and good department to work with, just because of the amount of experience you get, as well as the amount of support that we get to be able to train.
Man, that's cool. Medical training, where are you guys sitting for that?
So that's also on the fire side. I'm a paramedic, and we have a large percentage of our department which operate as paramedics. Everyone else is at least an EMT, and we're like, as far as the Air Ops program goes, we don't do medical transport or a whole lot of treatment within the helicopter. We're not set up for that, but we're providing all of that on the ground. So anytime we have these mountain rescues, all of that, care is being administered by medics and EMTs that are on ground or that can be inserted via the helicopter as well with the hoist.
Right on, man. That's good stuff. All right, and then one more question. Then I'm going to get into some stories, because like I'm digging this. I like the design and the way you guys have your program set up. But you mentioned like a base LZ. What is that? And is that a normal thing? Like, you're at the fire station right now, so if something were to happen, they just land where, at the fire station? Is that a base LZ?
So yeah, so like Tim mentioned it earlier. So typically when a rescue comes out, depending on where the crew chief is in town, sometimes they're downtown doing training, or sometimes they're up at a fire station that's close to us. But typically they'll respond here to Deer Valley Airport, where at that point we'll launch. We'll respond to wherever the rescue is occurring. Most of the frequent locations that we go, we have designated LZs, in and around where the rescue is occurring. So if we need to land prior to the rescue, pick up arts, pick up equipment to insert, we have the ability to do that. We'll fly to the patient, insert what we need to, extract patients, and then fly them back to whatever the predetermined LZ is on the ground, where we'll transfer the patient, and then if need be, they'll be taken to the hospital by an ambulance.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's super easy. Man, you guys are money.
Sometimes those base LZs are a concrete pad that's designated. Sometimes it's a park or a school that we'll land in that fire department has deemed, hey, this is where we're going to land, and so that's where we'll go.
Nice. As long as the kids aren't on recess.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Get to school. We gotta land. Go inside.
That's right.
Get. Man, you guys, this is awesome. Awesome. I love the setup. But all right, let me get into a rescue story. We're going to divert real quick to thank our sponsors.
Metro Aviation. Metro Aviation, the world's largest family-owned air medical operator, offers comprehensive aircraft services with 140 plus aircraft in over 25 states. The Completion Center installs medical and law enforcement kits and avionics, serving diverse aviation needs including offshore, utility, VIP, and corporate sectors.
The first one I want to talk about is, Dan, you sent me a video, and it wasn't you said it, you're like, this wasn't anything crazy, but it was a very common rescue for what it is. So talk us through it. Like, it's a canyon or a side of a bit of a cliffside. What happened?
So that rescue there is just a sample video of one of the many rescues that we do at Camelback Mountain. One of our places where we frequently go. As Bobby mentioned, it's kind of in the heart of the city. The terrain there is pretty treacherous. There's a lot of places to get off trail, a lot of places that, people have medical events. They fall and twist ankles and hurt knees and have head injuries and all of that stuff in combination with the heat in the city, where that's a whole nother list of injuries where people have heat related injuries. It's just one of our really frequent places that we go. That particular video there is us just doing a static hoist with a trail line. I believe we're extracting a patient. I can't remember for sure, but I think they're in an airbag where we're just doing an extraction of the patient. And at that point, we flew the patient back down to the bottom to an LZ that's designated there on the west side of Camelback Mountain. And yeah, it's just an example of one of the many rescues we do there. And I thought it was a good video to show just because somebody happened to film it and send it to me. You can see, it's a pretty scenic location. Camelback Mountain, it's really beautiful. That's the draw to a lot of people that get in and they go up there for whatever reason, get in over their heads and get hurt. And yeah, it's just I would say unofficially probably half our rescues are at that particular mountain.
Really? Holy smoke! You're literally going to frequently fly that.
Yeah, right.
That was a funny joke for us paramedics.
No fun.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good stuff. All right, one of the other things actually, I'm going to caveat something else is heat-related injuries because I know you guys get a lot. I did an episode here on this podcast with Travis County Starflight. It was an Asterix episode, and the doctor out there, I don't know if you guys haven't listened to it, I'm plugging it right now, but they literally talk about hoisting out a Yeti cooler or a type of cooler, bag cooler filled with ice, and literally put people in on ice out in the field to bring them back to normal. It's an incredible idea, and it works for them. They work out of Texas down in the Austin area, and with you guys being in Arizona, a little something there. Maybe it could work for you guys. There you go. Giving you that one. Okay. Now you got to go listen to it though.
Yeah, they have to take the professionals.
Do we have to take the beer out of it?
Yeah, optional. You're gonna have something for the end of it.
So, Jason, we actually have been using cooling bags here for the last few years to do the same thing with patient immersion into that cold slush or cold ice. In fact, we've been doing it long enough so that we're starting to collect some data and actually see, the results of that, which are very favorable. And it's become a very kind of a gold standard treatment for patients that are super heat compromised. In fact, as Aaron was saying, people really underestimate the power of the heat. Even very fit people get themselves into just a really bad situation. We'll take some of our temp guns and we'll shoot the rock on some of the rescues that we go on just to see what that radiant heat is off of the rocks. And it's not uncommon on a day where the ambient temperature in the air can be 110 degrees plus, but the heat off the rocks can be upwards of 150 to even 160 degrees. And especially in the dead of summer here, July and August, where we don't even get below it might cool off into the 90s overnight. So there's really no heat relief at all. So those rocks just contain that heat day in and day out for a couple months of the summer, which is pretty bad. Unfortunately, I've been on, and all these guys have been on several rescues as well, or recoveries is what they end up being. But we've all been on them. In fact, we just had one here locally in the last week for a woman that was overcome by heat and unfortunately died, on the mountain off trail, maybe only a couple hundred yards from a trailhead, but just, was just doing what she loved at the wrong time of the day and by herself, and just very, very sad outcome. So yeah, we can't get that message out enough.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about too, because it's just, it's like a simple solution for as far as the ice goes, but it's to coordinate and get it out there to get somebody back out of lethargic state and then get them back to like, oh my gosh, I feel cold. Like, all right, we're doing it right.
Yeah.
It's, I'm glad you guys are already doing that.
Do you see different ways the heat affects people? I had a rescue a year ago, and a woman had climbed a mountain, and she was the only one on the mountain, and there was a trail of her clothes going up the mountain because she was stripping her clothes off as she was hiking up. She's not thinking clearly, and the heat had overcome her. And a park ranger was able to get to her initially. So he's communicating on the radio as she was actually being combative to him. And this situation was going from bad to worse quickly for him. So at the time we were flying in one of the H-125s on a patrol flight, fire crews had got to the bottom of the mountain. So we were able to drop some of them off, take them up to the mountain to her, and she was combative with the fire department rescue guys as well. So now we have this patient who desperately needs off this mountain in medical care, but we're in a two-skid helicopter situation, and bringing someone combative inside the helicopter, like we can't have that overpopulated area. That's a whole other, list of risk. So as the pilot, I told the fire department, I said, we're not putting this woman in this helicopter. You have to sedate her. There's no other way that I'm not going to put myself, my partner, the crew, the fire department guys, and then the population around us in jeopardy because of this decision she made. So they actually did sedating her, and that was the only way. And they strapped her into a basket. We were able to get her two skid her down and land her. But the heat just totally took over her ability to think clearly at all.
Oh, unreal. Yeah. And you guys get it a lot out there. I know Arizona's ridiculously hot anyway, but Phoenix gets hot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking we're going to need those ice baths. I didn't know about them until like when we land. When we get out of that helicopter, we don't have AC in the helicopter, so it's 115. It's baking in the cockpit. I'm not going to complain at all, but it'd be nice to climb into one of those Yetis and chill out for a bit.
You know what? I know the chief pilot. I'll put in a good word for like an ice bath for you. Okay?
We get some authorized swimsuits or something.
Only if it's a Speedo. Maybe that's a fire department
I'm not going to go there. Sure. I mean, the fire department can wear theirs. I think we'll go with some cutoffs or something.
Yeah, you don't want to see that with these guys.
No.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's good stuff. Darren, thanks. Bobby, thanks. I appreciate you sharing that. That's great. All right, I want to bring you to another one because now this one stands out to you, Bobby. Christmas. You had a rescue on Christmas?
Yeah, so this was right. Yeah, I would say kind of that first COVID year, 2020. One unique thing that happened here in Phoenix, and I'm sure it happened in a lot of places, just when people realized they couldn't, be together in the ways that we're used to being together, the one thing that they discovered that they could do was do stuff outside. And it was a historically record year for us for the amount of trail use as well as the amount of rescues that we were getting. I know that you couldn't buy a mountain bike in town. If you found one on Craigslist or eBay, you were paying a lot of money for it just because everybody was just buying anything they could to be able just to do stuff outside. But in any event, so we had a very busy, sort of holiday season as we typically do on the trails. And we were already there doing we did a 2-skid operation, taking somebody off of one of the mountain landing zones that Dan was referring to. We had just completed that. We just had lifted off. We were heading back to our Deer Valley base unit. And one of the firefighters who was coming down the trail, we still had our tactical channel on and could hear him kind of clear command and say that he thought he saw somebody on this cliff wall right over the trail that he was on. Wasn't sure if he was on a rope or a harness or anything else. So we flipped a Yui. We were back on station in just a couple minutes. We knew exactly the location that he was referring to, which is not a climbing route. And sure enough, this guy had, as we say, kind of geckoed himself on this 200-foot cliff wall, sheer cliff wall, halfway up. So 100 feet from the bottom, 100 feet from the top, and just stuck. And so we fortunately had a lot of resources already on the mountain because of the rescue that we had just completed. So we landed down in the base landing zone. I picked up, I think we did a total of 4, what we call our ART insertions. So some of our air rescue techs that are qualified to be inserted. We put them on top of the head wall, which is the sort of the talus area above the cliff that he was on. And then meanwhile, while I was doing those insertions, we already had folks that were doing a climb up to get there as well. And we inserted a bunch of equipment. We basically, within a few minutes, had a bunch of resources, including, not only the manpower, but the equipment to be able to pull off one of those pickoffs that I was referring to earlier. So pretty unique rescue. I got some pretty amazing footage of it as the guys were, being lowered down to pluck this guy off. another little side story to that is that when we were on the first call that we were all there for, it was noticed that an individual was kind of rifling through the back of one of our support trucks, which is the truck that carries a lot of our equipment. And somebody from, one of the command vehicles chased that guy away. Didn't look like he really got anything. He just sort of ran away down the trailhead into the mountain a little bit. Well, the guy that we rescued was that guy. So crazy enough, that for whatever reason, he decided to, just get himself in all kinds of trouble that day, not only trying to, steal from us, but then put himself into a really bad place that he could have been easily killed. So yeah, kind of a crazy connection to everything on that whole sequence of events.
It's a good thing you work closely with the police department. Throw that out
you
there.
know what?
Yeah, I got friends in high places. Hey, boys, I got one for you. What the heck, man?
I know. What the heck is right?
That whole COVID thing, and I remember that. It reminds me like when your parents were yelling at you when you were a kid, get outside, go play outside. It's like finally, like, oh my gosh, we can go outside and play again. It was amazing. There's a lot of places I heard that went crazy like that, including out in Kentucky, down in Texas. Like they had some crazy stuff. So
I'm sure everywhere was just like that.
Well, I'm glad you guys were on it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good outcome.
Hilarious. Good. All right, I'm going to go to another one. We're going to divert real quick to thank our sponsors.
Whether your mission is saving lives or servicing high-value assets, Onboard Systems hoist stays ready to assist. Features such as single point payout reduce the potential for hoist-induced load swings, enhancing overall safety. For more information, go to hoist-winch.onboardsystems.com.
And this one, Tim, I'm coming to you. You've been pretty quiet the majority of this podcast, but this one is kind of for you. So let me do this. I'm going to play a video right now, and it's going to be the news station. They have a nice little a clip of it, so it's going to be right now.
We've got some breaking news we're tracking tonight. 2 people are trapped waist deep in water here at the Salt River. Rescue crews are on scene. This is near 91st Avenue in Southern. So on the phone with us is Captain Todd Keller with Phoenix Fire, and we are showing live pictures. Captain, what can you tell us about what we're seeing right now?
So I can tell you right now that we are located at Baseline and 91st Avenue. This call came out about 6:45 for reports of 2 people that were trapped in the Salt River on top of their car, and because of how fast this water was moving, they could not get off.
Chief Meteorologist Royal Norman just told me that farther up the Salt River, the flow is being measured at 18,000 cubic feet per second. What's it look like down there where these 2 folks are? How fast is that water moving?
The water's moving fast enough where this is going to be a situation where we're going to do a cinch collar utilizing Firebird 10. Right now, Firebird's on scene. What they're going to do is they're going to insert an ART into the helicopter, and they're going to lower them down, put these collars around the patients, and extricate them to safety.
Captain, what can you tell us, as people are watching, and we talk about this every year, the same warning every year, but people still manage to try and get through these. What is your caution as we are watching this rescue happen live near 91st and Baseline?
Absolutely. So we don't know how these people got caught in this wash, but I can tell you that these signs are up there for a reason. This water, you don't know if it's 2 feet or in this situation, it sounds like this is 15 feet deep. Those signs are for a reason. Those roadblocks are there for a reason. Do not try to pass them. We have 4 different cities out here trying to get these 2 people. We have Gila River, we have Phoenix, we have Goodyear, and we have Tolleson. And right now, we're all working together to bring these 2 people to safety.
Well done to you guys. That's amazing. And you guys got a letter, so which is funny because it's a letter from the Phoenix Fire Department, to the police department for a job well done. That doesn't happen very often, does it? Just got to throw that one out there too. You know what? There's a first time for everything. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But here's what this says. This is amazing. Citation from Phoenix Fire Department. On March 17th, 2023, the collective efforts of the Phoenix Fire Technical Rescue Companies showcased extraordinary dedication and professionalism in successfully rescuing 2 adults stranded in the floodwaters near 91st Ave and Baseline Road. Faced with challenging considerations, including rapidly moving floodwaters, nighttime darkness, nearby power lines, and various hazards in the river bottom, the team executed a meticulously devised plan. Harnessing the capabilities of the Phoenix Firebird 10 helicopter, they performed cinch collar rescue hoist operations with precision, ensuring the safe retrieval of both adults. The crew's adept handling of the potential hazards, simultaneous execution of primary and backup plans, and the seamless coordinations throughout the operation highlight their exceptional skill and commitment to ensuring the safety of all involved parties. This combination is a testament to their unwavering dedication and exemplary performance in the face of adversity. Signed, Michael J. Duran, Fire Chief. And that was on March 15th, 2024. Gentlemen, well done. And you guys got more than that after that, right? Let's go to Tim. Well, come on, Tim. What happened? Holy cow.
So we got the call from Car 957 that there was a possible rescue out at 91st Avenue and Baseline, Swiftwater. It was at night. So Bobby met us up at the at Deer Valley Hangar. We assembled, pushed out Firebird 10, the Augusta 109. We had our night vision goggles with us, and we flew out there again at night. When we got overhead, crews were already on scene, so we kind of knew what we were looking at. I think we landed and picked up the swimmer or the ART, and then went into the rescue.
ART. Wait a minute. What's an ART? What, define it?
The air rescue technician, or Bobby, if you want to talk about it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, come back to Bobby. Well, hold on. This is on you right now.
This is my time.
I want to. Yeah, it's your time.
So again, on the way out there, talking with Bobby, this was my first one at night. I'm not sure. I think it was my first Swiftwater. I might have done one other on NVGs at the time, night vision goggles. But I think it might have been my first one. So just talking to somebody who has the experience and the knowledge put me at ease and talked me through it. So we got out there, we found the patients, we inserted the ART to the vehicle, I guess is what they were standing on, and we went in and successfully rescued both of them. It was a short haul instead of bringing them up to the helicopter. So we had a little bit of a distance in order to fly them in order to get them to dry land. So I had to go slow. I didn't want them to get any spins or any sways or anything like that. So, Bobby just kept me going, talking me through it, and, explaining what's going on beneath me. We were able to land and successfully, like I said, rescue both of them.
Nice. All right, Bobby. Talk to me, man. Like, 2 questions about that. One, he said you kind of did a short haul out. Is that you're keeping the patients just off the ground level, or just off the water, or are you bringing them just below the skid?
Yeah. So when we do our cinch collar extraction in that scenario, in that application from, say, a flooded out vehicle, we're keeping our rescuer or the ART attached to the hook. He comes down with the cinch collar device, captures the patient. We bring them up together, basically just kind of clear the immediate obstacles, and then we kind of hold them at that AGL, and then just, sort of in a short haul configuration, we fly them to what we call the area of safe refuge, which is typically not very far to be able to put them down into some dry land. In this particular case, it was probably about a quarter mile, would you say, Tim?
Yeah,
in order to get them into an area of safe refuge on this particular call, because we have to put them somewhere where they can be accessed by all of the ground support. And the other things that Tim's kind of being modest about, the amount of complexity to this particular incident. It was occurring like usually when we get our big rain events here, and we don't get very many big rain events in Phoenix. But when we get them, they're significant because the ground just does not absorb water. That's why it flash floods here so so aggressively, I guess, when we do get a big rain. But this happened during a kind of a very historical wet winter for us. So we had an abundant amount of snowfall and snowpack up in the high country. When that starts melting in the spring, which this rescue occurred during the spring, it fills up sort of our reservoirs just outside of, the valley here. And in order to make more room for all the water that was coming down, the reservoirs were releasing a ton of water. So the lower Salt River bottom where this rescue occurred is normally dry 364 days a year. And we just get that one summer storm where it, floods for a little bit. In this particular year, the Salt River bottom was not just wet, but it was running at historical high volume for a couple months, if I remember right. And we were getting a lot of rescues in there. And you have to understand too, that particular stretch of the river bottom is how far from one side to the other, would you say, Tim? It's probably almost half a mile?
If not more. I mean, where it was.
If not more, 3/4 of a mile. Yeah, with very, very dense, thick vegetation in it. In fact, the ground crews never really could see the patient. That was one of the reasons we were even requested, just to be able to provide the recon and put some lights on it, because of just the amount of vegetation in between where they could access and where they actually were. And in fact, we weren't even sure what they were standing on. Like, we assumed they were standing on a vehicle, but the vehicle was completely submerged and they were, in water up to their knees probably. So I wasn't exactly sure if they were on tree branches or on top of a dry island that was flooded out. It was hard to say. We had power lines in the area. Obviously, it was night. It was dark. We didn't have any kind of a great base landing zone to land in. That became a big challenge for us. We called a lot of audibles on this particular incident, and between Tim and myself and the air rescue tech that came in. Plus, this was, a time of year where it was still pretty chilly, especially at night. And, that big wind chill factor of the rotor wash makes a significant impact on the rescuer and the victims, of course, to really, put them into a state of hypothermia. So I remember we had to do these one at a time. After we plucked the first one off and we did that long sort of short haul flight back down to sort of our base landing area to be able to put them down, we had to get that same air rescue tech back in the ship. So I brought in the rest of the hook after we put him down. We sat down, he came back in, and he was shivering and kind of had that sort of glazed look, like he wasn't all there still. And I kind of just got him. I just got him right in the face and just said, "Dave, are you okay? You ready? Are you ready to do this again?" Because he was our guy. Like, we didn't have any other rescue techs there to be able to handle this particular rescue, and he was up to the task. Once again, that's why he, truly deserved that award that he was given for exceptional performance that night.
What did he earn?
So he was we award like a firefighter of the year award, annually in the fire department for just, sort of an above and beyond call, whether it's, on or off duty. And, that call certainly, met that on that particular night. Yeah. Because he had to go back out there and do it. He had to go back out there and do it all over again. So just a lot of communication. I'd love to go back. I never did hear some of the audio. It would be fun to listen to that between Tim and myself and Dave, and just there was a lot of communication going on to be able to pull that off. But that's why we train. Just like Aaron said, it really wouldn't have mattered who was up in the front or who was in the back. Any one of the other crew chiefs or the other pilots, it would have all been just the same. With the standardized, verbiage and training that we do.
You know what? Good for you guys, man. Congratulations. And congratulations to your art. What is his name?
David.
Well done, David. Fireman of the Year. Nice. All because you looked at it, Bobby, and said, "You ready to go again? You ready,
you
right?
Gotta do.
Right?" That's almost like when your wife asked you, "You're happily married, right, honey?" Right? Like, yes. Yeah, I'm ready to go again. No problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's
he's one
good
of
stuff.
these guys that runs around with about 6 or 7% body fat, very lean, doesn't have much of that insulation layer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, way to rub it into the rest of us.
Exactly.
That's good stuff. Now, Tim, one of the other cool parts about this is you actually went and flew back to that area the next day and ended up taking a bunch of pictures. Was it the next day?
It was, yeah, the next day. Again, at night under NVGs, you don't get a good perspective of what you're actually looking at. Seeing how close those power lines were to us, where essentially that vehicle, which in the picture you still can't see, was located where they
No.
were standing, and just get a perspective for me. And so I just wanted to take some pictures. I could show my family and whoever else, hey, this is where it was done, and this is what it looked like.
Well, and the washout or the I'm gonna call it a river, but it's huge. So I
Yes.
like seeing the pictures in the day. You can totally understand why you were flying like a quarter mile to get to some sort of a dry land area to get the victims down.
Yeah, there
That's
was
crazy.
a ton of water that was flowing, like he said, like Bobby said, that went over the banks and up into the the dry land and washed everything out.
Dude, that is awesome. Man, well done, you guys. That is an awesome rescue. Sick. I love it. Well, guys, man, I appreciate your time for everything. Unless you guys want to touch on any other rescue stories that stand out to you, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then close it out.
Shoot.
All good.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right. In that case, let's go the way we started. Aaron, if you had a piece of advice that you would pass on to everybody doing the job right now, what would it be?
I would say don't ever try to push anything beyond your comfort level and your limits. This rescue work that we do and other agencies do, it is inherently dangerous. We're putting people in risky situations, and if you're not comfortable, there's always a plan B.
That's good advice. I like that one. All right, Dan, what do you got?
So yeah, he took one of mine, but in addition to knowing your limits, the machine's limits, and not exceeding either of those, communication is key. The communication between the crew in the back, between the pilots, the crew chief, the flight crew in the back, letting us know everything from positioning to what's going on with the patient. It's key for a successful outcome.
Cool. I appreciate that one. I like that too. All right, Tim, what do you got?
Train, and then trust. Trust those that you're working with. Trust the machine. Trust your skill, and then the people that are have done it in the back behind you. That's all. That's what I can say. When it all comes together, it should be second nature, and that's kind of the way it felt after a while. So yeah.
Yeah. Man, I really like that. Train, and trust. And but like there are conversation pieces I've had on here where it's like I went through some gnarly training myself. Like you can trust me to do my job. I promise you I will be able to do it. So
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Bobby, from the fire department, what do you got?
Yeah. I mean, obviously echoing everything these guys said, all great talking points. And I guess the other things to add, at least from sort of the rescuer perspective, is just respect. To be confident in yourself and in your abilities and in your training, but always have a deep found respect for, the danger, for the exposure. One thing I always tell, any new student coming into a technical rescue program is we talk about gravity and how there are absolute laws of gravity. They are indiscriminate. Doesn't care if this is your first time rappelling over an edge or if it's the 1,000th time rappelling over that edge. It's going to react and do to you either way. So just, always keeping safety and never, ever becoming complacent. And the other thing I would also add is just, this community, whether it incorporates the air ops or just, rescue as a whole, it's a very sharing community in terms of, we all want the same thing. We all want to become better. We all want to learn from each other's mistakes. Totally. At the end of the day, it's all about, going home safe at the end of the tour and doing the best we possibly can for our customers out there. So just, kind of having that very open mindset, when you come into this line of work.
Right on. Thanks, Bobby. I say it all the time. Those in distress are praying for a miracle. They're going to get us. Better get training. This is what we better get doing. Gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time to join me. And when I get back down to Phoenix, one of my favorite breweries down there is in Santan Brewing, down there in what town is that in? I don't even remember the name of the town.
Chandler.
Is it in Chandler?
Chandler, down in Chandler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go. All right. We've heard that. That's right. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go have a beer together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hit us up.
We'll do.
Right on. Gentlemen, I will see you guys later. Thank you again so much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here.
Go.
Now it's time for me to pull chocks and take off. But before I go, I'm always looking for the memorable rescues that people have done. If you have one that you're willing to share or know somebody who has a story, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to highlight it here at the Real Rescue. For everybody that is standing by for that SAR alarm, remember, those in distress are praying for a miracle. They are going to get you. So until next time, fly safe and swim hard. Thank you for joining me today here at the Real ResQ Podcast, powered by Vertical Helicast. We'd also like to say thank you to our sponsors for this episode.
Airbus. Airbus provides the most efficient helicopter solutions to its customers who serve, protect, save lives, and safely carry passengers in demanding environments. Its civil and military helicopters are flying all over the world, making missions possible. Visit airbus.com for more information.
Metro Aviation. Metro Aviation, the world's largest family-owned aeromedical operator, offers comprehensive aircraft services with 140 plus aircraft in over 25 states. The Completion Center installs medical and law enforcement kits and avionics, serving diverse aviation needs including offshore, utility, VIP, and corporate sectors.
And
whether your mission is saving lives or servicing high-value assets, Onboard Systems Hoist stays ready to assist. Features such as single-point payout reduce the potential for hoist-induced load swings, enhancing overall safety. For more information, go to hoist-winch.onboardsystem.com.
If you have a funny training story.
Yeah, recently, about this time of year, annually, we do swift water training, like you talked about. But this is the time of year we train for that, and the fire department sets up a boat in the canal. There's an irrigation canal, and they set up a boat and tie it up, and we do simulated rescues with the boat. When I was brand new to the unit, not even a pilot yet, still a TFO, I was voluntold to be a victim for the rescuing. So I had to jump in the canal, swim to the boat. They'd come down and rescue me and put me on land. Well, the pilot flying that day, who's since retired, he and I had a pretty good relationship, and he thought it'd be fun that because I was all wet from swimming in the boat, when he picked me up to bring me over to land, he would drag me through the dirt for a little while, hanging off the hoist. So I'd have to get back in the water again to get cleaned up. I think a few of us have been through that. But yeah, we come up with just completely covered in dirt and mud from being wet, and that was fun for them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah. Or a powdered donut, since you guys are police officers.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
The jealousy comes out.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Well, that
Dan,
was an interesting
Tim,
training story.
Right. That's pretty funny. That's really funny. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got a few, but I'll just keep one air ops related since I'm with a bunch of air ops guys here. So this wasn't necessarily directly related to the training, but when I was returning back to the air unit from some training, we typically when I'm on shift and I respond with my fire department rig over to the Deer Valley base, we just kind of leave it right next to the hangar that we keep the rescue helicopter in. And another rescue pilot, might be the same one that Aaron was referring to, because it sounds like him. he was not part of the training, but he happened to see my rig there. And he just kind of had a standard thing that he would do. If he ever saw that rid, he would just sabotage it when I was gone doing whatever I was doing. So, and I'd always forget.
Same pile.
So I'd get back in the rig, and as soon as I fire it up, every light, every siren, the heat, this is like dead of summer and the heat's blowing full blast, windshield wipers. Anything he could do to just, completely, sabotage that rig. He did it every time. So that just kind of makes me chuckle when I think about it.
You got to give him a shout out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Who is it? We'll shout him out. Who is it? Aaron?
Oh, the great Gary Buckland.
Right on. And Bobby, who are you talking about?
And I was speaking about Brian Bennington.
Shout outs made. Boom.